Tonight on Q2, worries with the weather.
That's the primary mission of the Weather Service, is the protection of lives and property and to enhance the national economy.
From spotting severe storms to fighting Montana wildfires, the latest wave of government cuts leaving many climate professionals concerned for the future. Plus, a centuries-old lifestyle meets the new age.
Advocating for it and being a voice for the agriculture industry is so important.
One young woman takes to social media in hopes of making a difference in agriculture. And blankets, books, and bears, oh my.
Every child needs a book, just as much as they need a blanket and a teddy bear and a warm pillow.
The MTN 530 News starts right now.
From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 530 News.
Good evening, and thanks for joining us on this Sunday. I'm Charlie Klepps. President Donald Trump and the Department of Government Efficiency continue their efforts to shrink the federal workforce. The latest round of cuts impacting the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, with hundreds of weather and climate professionals losing their jobs in the last week. In all, the agency looks to lose at least 7% of its workforce, a decision that could have a huge effect on agriculture, wildland firefighting efforts, and everyday Americans, especially when it comes to severe storms. Tonight, our Marcus Kakova dives into this wave of cuts, including the impact they are already having and may have in the future.
A key part of journalism is admitting when you don't know something, so you can find it out. So despite my formal education in environmental science and what our sharing a building might suggest, let me be the first to admit, I do not know how to do what our meteorologists do.
This is the National Weather Service's Doppler radar.
Keith Meyer was and is one of those meteorologists.
The Doppler radar allows us to measure air motions within thunderstorms, even categorize the kind of hydrometeors or particles in the storm. This is one of the things that could be jeopardized with the staff reductions across the Weather Service.
Much of a 30-year career he spent with the National Weather Service, in part as a supervisor, caring for Montana, its people, your property.
That's the primary mission of the Weather Service, is the protection of lives and property and to enhance the national economy. So there's no question about what you come in and do every day and what you focus on every day.
That mission faces a threat. 10% cuts at the NOAA, over 1,000 jobs, and a vacancy rate at the National Weather Service that could reach 30%.
I'm really worried about, especially in Montana, we would dispatch a meteorologist to support wildfire fighting efforts across the state, and we would have to backfill those positions in our office.
Nationwide, offices were already running 15 to 20% understaffed.
We've never really got a full appropriation of money to fully staff the offices.
Despite these shortages, the service stays transparent about the work tax dollars support.
We routinely had people come through our office, general public, to showcase what we did and how we operated 24/7, 365. All the weather data that's collected by the Weather Service is publicly accessible and publicly usable.
Next time we looked at the sky, rain, snow, or shine, I'll be asking myself, how much do I really know about how that works? And where can I find someone qualified to teach me more? Marcus Kakova, MTN News.
It's a near perfect weekend out there, but some changes are already starting tonight. To help you plan for the new week, here's Chief Meteorologist Ed McIntosh.
A weekend for us is another afternoon with sunshine and just a few clouds. Live shot with the Stockman Bank weather cam. We started off at 32, mild start. 61 was the warmest at the airport today, just 6 degrees shy of the March 2nd record that was set back in 1992. Now, as you take a look at the colors, the deeper the red, that means the warmer than average. Blue means cooler than average, and everything else is just kind of in the middle. Tomorrow we'll see temperatures still holding up pretty well, certainly not as warm as the weekend. Tuesday will be the coolest day across eastern Montana and northern Wyoming. By the middle of the week, temperatures begin to warm, and if we stay on the current pattern, could be another nice weekend. Details coming up.
It's not unusual for U.S. attorneys to resign or be terminated with the arrival of a new presidential administration, and that was the case for U.S. Attorney to Montana Jesse Lazovich, as he was terminated suddenly 2 weeks ago after being signed out of his work computer. In the wake of Lazovich's dismissal, Tim Roscoe now sits as the acting U.S. Attorney to Montana in an interim position. Tim is the son of Mark Roscoe, who previously served as chairman of the Republican National Committee under George W. Bush. However, Mark was rebuked by Montana's Republican Party in 2023 after speaking out in opposition of recent candidates. Tim says this intermediate period of transition is completely normal and is controlled by a statute called the Vacancy Reform Act.
That statute just says that essentially the duties of the acting U.S. attorney fall to the person who occupies the role of first assistant U.S. attorney, and that right now happens to be me. So I become the acting U.S. attorney only until we get a new presidentially appointed and Senate confirmed U.S. attorney.
Roscoe adds that the length of time it takes to presidentially appoint a U.S. attorney can vary greatly, and he expects President Trump's selection nominees to be forwarded at one time. Trump's choice for Montana will then need to be vetted and confirmed by the U.S. Senate. March is both National Agriculture and Women's History Month, so here at MTN we are looking to highlight the many women making a difference in the field. And what better place to start than with 17-year-old Claire Mernon, who over the past 2 years has combined the age-old traditions of ranching with the new age of social media. It's all in an attempt to educate and inform, and so far the plan is working to perfection. And as I found out, her mother couldn't be more proud.
Everybody's life, whether they know it or they don't.
The lifestyle can be unforgiving.
It's very muddy outside.
But regardless of challenges, agriculture's importance can't be overstated.
Without agriculture, we would not be able to survive.
Every decision and every choice we make, it has life and death consequences.
Known as the backbone of every country, its roots run deep in Montana.
We typically start our day by doing chores somewhere between 6:30 to 7 o'clock.
And that's especially true at the Mernon family ranch near Pompey's Pillar.
You know, those of us that do it, we don't take it lightly. It's a way of life.
A way of life that has survived generations and will always flourish. But now, in 2025, it's becoming more modernized. Thanks to Claire Mernon and her social media talents.
Why don't I post daily about agriculture and the lifestyle that so many of us live?
The Shepherd seniors started this Instagram page called 365 Days of Agriculture, doing just that.
At first it was a little nerve-wracking to think that she was going to put herself out there, and what would she say?
The early fears and anxiety felt by Claire's mother Julie and herself quickly evaporated as the followers and interactions skyrocketed.
I definitely would have never expected that it would have grown to the where it is today and how it keeps growing.
It's not just her telling her friends at school what she did over the weekend. You know, she's reaching a really big audience with it.
A message both Claire and her mom know is important. Advocating and educating people about the world's oldest trade.
I've realized that I do have an influence on people, and I am able to share my stories and the stories of others around me.
It's critical to bring agriculture to a lot of different people, and the fact that she's a girl too, that's, you know, pretty awesome and makes me proud as a mom.
Still to come on the MTN 530 News on Q2, putting pen to paper. One woman now using her own book and her nonprofit to make a difference in the lives of children. We'll share that story next, and later, Creations on a Canvas, a West High senior bringing her emotions to life through painting. We'll show you in just a bit.